Let's go! This is the Microsoft Power Platform Community Call for April 2024. We are live with the community. My name is David Warner, and I will be your host today. Let's get into it. Let's talk about what is on our agenda. We are going to update you all on some community resources. We're going to cover some community samples. We're going to have our group picture time with Together Mode. And then we've got three epic all-star presenters of the day. Kristine is going to cover Copilot Branding 101, how to style your Copilot to enhance user experience. Ashley is here to also cover Copilot for Copilot. It's like, how is that going to work? It's like Inception, Copilotception, right? It's going to be awesome how you can collaborate with AI to use AI. And Kat is going to be here to discuss JSON, low-code introduction for no-coders. So we have got amazing content for everybody today. We hope you're ready for it. Buckle up. But first, let's talk about some resources that are available to each and every one of you in the community. These are absolutely free. They are wonderful for you to take advantage of in a variety of ways. We've got Power Platform and M365 community videos, LinkedIn groups for discussions. We've got open source projects and initiatives that provide you a better ability to use the technology that we all love. And then, of course, we've got lots and lots of sample galleries, community samples that are created by you, for you. So there's lots of opportunity to collaborate with other like-minded, passionate people in the community. And all you got to do is remember every single one of these URLs by heart. There'll be a test afterwards. Nah. I'm just kidding. All you got to do is remember one, aka.ms/community/home, and that will take you to all this wonderful goodness. And we're also building some new pages for you to take advantage of all the more projects and places in which you can collaborate, like our forums and things like that. So definitely keep an eye out for that in the future. Now, speaking of community calls, there's a last-minute edition for those Power Platform Pro devs that are looking to get a little bit more involved with Microsoft. There is an office hours that actually is tomorrow. Yes, you heard me, tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific time. This is ran by Mark, and you can get access to this by going to aka.ms/ppdevoo, right? It stands for Power Platform Dev Office Hours. So take advantage of that. We'll put the links here in the chat for you, and you can take advantage of that. It's going to be something that we're going to be working more with them on, so you'll see more about that from Mark and his team, and we're really excited to be able to bring that into the fold here. Now, as you're going through and watching these amazing presenters of the day, you're going to think, I got cool stuff to share. We know you do, and we want you to share it. So we've made it easy for you. All you got to do is fill out this little URL, aka.ms/community/request/demo. Yeah, I know, it's maybe less than little, but it will give you access to be on these calls. Now, don't overthink it. Don't think, I'm going to have to show how time travel is possible with a flux capacitor. Nope, not at all. You likely have a utility, a sample, an app, something cool that you created that you find value and use in. Share it with the world. I guarantee others are going to find value as well. And if you've never presented and you want a buddy, we get a buddy system, so don't hesitate to let us know. I'd like to be buddied up with someone. We'll work with you in crafting the presentation, and then we will absolutely ensure that we give it with you. So it's a team effort, and it's fantastic for us to be able to work together. It's a great opportunity, and we are here for you. Now, let's get into some of those samples I talked about earlier on, and Kate's going to tell us more about them. Kate?
Yeah, thank you very much, David. Hello, everyone. So today I'm excited to introduce you two fantastic new samples that we recently received. First, we have Shahir's advanced validation tool. This tool helps to ensure that form fields are filled correctly and completely. If something is missing or incorrect, it alerts users to make the necessary fixes, improving the overall experience. Next, Charles Sexton has developed a color converter. This tool is essential for everyone working with Power Apps, making it easy to change and adjust colors, including their transparency, available in both RGB and hex formats. I personally love this functionality. So a big thank you to both contributors. These tools are incredibly useful, and I encourage everyone to give them a try. And moreover, to share your own projects. Let's grow together. Back to you, David.
Awesome. Thank you, Kate. Yeah, and as she mentioned, let's grow together. These are opportunities to improve upon samples that are there. So work together with the creator of it, and you're going to collaborate and create some awesome stuff. Now, If you're not sure how to submit or work with GitHub, we finally have the Sharing is Caring launching here. We're going to be having one scheduled mid-May. I'm working on that today, in fact, so be on the lookout. I will tweet it out. We appreciate everyone's patience and really are excited to continue to start working with you. Keep an eye out at aka.ms/sharingiscaring, and we're going to get those office hours as well kicked up so that you can ask questions. You don't have to join the whole session, but they are live, safe space opportunities for us to work together and teach you how to accomplish things like submitting to GitHub. What is a pull request? How does it work? We're going to do it together. Not going to record it, so it's a safe space to ask any and all questions, and you will walk away feeling empowered and ready to contribute. And then once you have contributed, whoo, diddy, that's the fun time. You are going to be recognized. This is our recognition program. We've probably seen some badges just in the last couple days. We've been pumping them out, and we are super excited. More in store for this year. We are absolutely renewing our relationship with Credly. It is not going away. So get opted in. We have well over 1,000 people in our recognition program now. 100% free. We cover the cost. aka.ms/community/recognition. And again, these badges are accredited by Credly, so that you can associate them to your LinkedIn profile, put them on Twitter, send them to everybody at end of the year cards, put them on the fridge, tell mom, she'll be proud. I know we are. So scream it from the rooftops, everybody. We love what you're doing and really, really, really cannot thank you enough. But this is one of the ways that we try. So thank you. All right, let's get into some Power Platform community shows and events that are coming up. Shane, why don't you tell us more?
Oh, am I here? I feel like I got skipped on the intro, David. I am very mad.
My apologies.
No, you don't care at all, do you? All right. Anyway, so just a quick note here about some of the different events that we've got coming up. The big one, I think, is the Microsoft 365 conferences in just a couple weeks. I know my dear friend David and my friend Vesa, who does not want a hug from me, will both be there, along with a bunch of other people. So definitely go check out the event. You know, it is not only Power Platform stuff, but right, we've got SharePoint, Teams, Viva, really the whole kind of ecosystem there. So please check that one out if you haven't. Always a good time. Then we've got the TechCon 365, so very similar, and then they are multi-platform. Right? We got to learn lots of things these days to be good at our jobs. The difference with these, instead of one big event, they've got different regional events. So we got Seattle in June, DC, we've got August, and Dallas in November. So different, different events there, all kind of more regional, so not the mega one. So check those out. Another great way to learn, engage. And then finally, we have my favorite event, right? This is where I get to see all these fun people. Everyone that's presenting today was at in Vegas last year, right? I got to see all of them. So join us again in September for this. It is in Las Vegas, the Microsoft Power Platform Conference. I know that my workshop is already out there. It was the first one to sell out last year. Hint, hint, hint. So if you want to join that, you better get that one early. But it is a great conference. It is so much fun to see everyone. This is the #1 on my calendar for the year. And finally, remember, AKA MS Community Days. So this is where you can go and get your events listed. And here you can see all the ones that are coming up here in April and May. They are all over the world. They are different community events, whether they be free or paid. But, just once again, look for those things that make sense to you. Check them out. Maybe it's a good excuse to go to Lisbon, Portugal, right? Like, you never know what you might find with one of these events. So check them out. All right.
And yeah, news from the field also. And again, my apologies for not shouting out for you. I get like Tommy Boy, right? With my pretty new pet, all excited. And so take it away.
I'm going to cry for the rest of the day, but it's all right. So this is the new thing I added while David was gone. So just a couple of things for you guys to think about real quick. One, remember, we are the beachhead. So like 2 of the 3 presenters today are hitting on Copilot. Copilot, this whole AI story that is evolving and changing the business world very rapidly. We are on the front lines. Us that do low code, no code, our tools are ways to get AI up and running in your business, augmenting your apps, augmenting your workflows, using it to create stuff, all the great stuff that you're going to learn about on this call. So please, I know I'm always on the soapbox, but if you're not using AI and Copilot today because you're like, who cares? You are falling behind. Please, please, please be checking it out. The other thing I want to point out real quick, keep your eyes open. So, as we head into Build, right, so Microsoft's big event, the Power Platform is evolving. They'll have a bunch of things they'll announce at that. but they keep sneaking out all these little things. And, you know, if you think about, like, we're never going to get all those covered in videos and blog posts. So when you see something, try it out. Like there on the top left corner, the whole automatically remove data not currently in use. So that just showed up, I think it was last week, out of the blue. No one announced it. No one mentioned it. You know, there's a lot of really cool features going on that'll kind of keep sneaking out. When you see one, click on it, try it out, figure it out, see what it is. But keep that in mind. You're going to see lots of little changes before the big changes roll out in May coming. So very cool new feature. And with that, I will turn it back over to the guy who does not want to talk about me.
Who's that again? Sorry, was that Shane? Was that you? Or was that Sean? Sean. I'm just kidding. Love you, Shane. Sorry. All right, everybody. It is one of everyone's favorite time. Picture time. So let's turn on those cameras, see those fantastic faces. I will set up the together mode here and I hope it works.
I brushed my hair for this, so it better work.
I did too. It's quick though for me. It doesn't take any time at all. Literally, no time. All right.
Kristine wants to put on her helmet. She's been very pro racer lately, so.
Should I put my helmet on?
Mama, I'm going fast. All right. It is, yeah, it's a little pixelated today, but maybe that's because we're in the Community Protection Agency or something, right? Let's see. I think we're close to maxing out. Looking great, everybody. So 3, 2, 1. Let's get those arms waving. Woo! Show everybody how awesome you are. We really appreciate all that you're doing. You look fantastic. Great to see so many people here today. Super excited to have you all here. Really great stuff. So, all right, let's stop that. Let's get back over here and let's move on over to who is our all-star presenter of the day. 3 amazing gals. We are going to start with Kristine on Copilot Branding 101, how to style your Copilot to enhance user experience. Kristine, want to take on over the screen and show us some stuff.
Thank you so much, David. Thanks, everyone. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. Funnily enough, this call was my first call I presented at, and it's powered my career. So I'm so excited to be here again and present to you a topic that I am quite passionate about. So thanks, David, for having me here today. So I'm just going to quickly pop my slide on the screen before we navigate to the hands-on demo. And if someone could just throw hands up or a thumbs up to tell me that you can actually see my screen, that would be perfect.
Yep, we see it. If you just want to throw it into presentation
Thank you so much.
mode. Awesome.
Perfect. Brilliant. So for anyone that doesn't know me, I'm Kristine Kolodziejski. I am based in the UK. I work for a Big 4 company as a senior manager leading the Power Platform team in UK and I am a front-end developer and a massive UI nerd. So you may have seen me on LinkedIn or Twitter or YouTube spamming everyone's feeds with things that nobody needs really in the Power Apps, but everyone seems to want to use. I am also Microsoft MVP for business applications, which I'm very proud to be. I am a certified Prince CSS. This is a title I got from Louise Fries. So I take that with pride, and outside of work, outside of my laptop, which I do sometimes walk away from, believe it or not, I also do racing. So I'm taking part in multiple national championships this year. I love playing games. I love playing drums, and I'm just a massive nerd, really. That's about it. So if you want to connect with me, that QR code on the right-hand side is to all of my social media. So if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn or Twitter, feel free to do so. And without any further ado, that's the end of my presentation. I am kidding. So I am going to now present my actual hands-on demo. I really am keen to show you hands-on how to style your Power Apps, your Copilot. Sorry, I'm used to saying Power Apps all the time. How to style your Copilot and really improve that end user experience. So I'm just going to pop that on the screen now, and hopefully everyone can see it now.
Yep, loaded. Take it away.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So in terms of the use case for today for my Copilot, I decided to use all of the AI features, decided to use the Microsoft investment into OpenAI and not actually use any of that and just put a simple topic. So in terms of my Copilot, all it can do is just answer a very simple question. So I'm just going to say hi. And in a second, it will throw me some options around what I want to learn. I'm just going to click on one of these and it will just propose to me a video in a second when the internet finally decides to load this. So this is the typical chat of a Copilot that you will see. And I will show you how you can take it from this to looking much better when you want to post it on your custom website as an example. Now, before we navigate, just to preempt this session and the presentation itself is going to be focusing mostly on Copilot that you'll be using and posting, publishing on your custom websites, a web app or Power Pages site. So this right now is not supported for Copilot controls in Canvas apps or any other controls, but hopefully with time we will see the product engineering teams add some additional styling features. Now, before we actually go into the demo, let me just quickly show you some of the steps that you need to take in order to be able to do this first. So first of all, I will navigate to Microsoft Docs. As we all know, Microsoft love to document everything step by step. So if you get lost at any point today, I will, one, have my own blog post written up with all of the instructions. And two, you also have the use of Microsoft Docs that are updated very regularly to find out how to do those things. So this is the page that we're looking at. And this page outlines how you can style your custom chatbot Copilot that you want to publish on the website. So there's quite a few steps that you need to take, and I'm going to quickly streamline it and show you the quickest way on how to do that. Now, the first step that you need to take is go to the section number 2, where you have all of the HTML code. So the reason why we can't use this right now in Canvas apps or anywhere else is because we have to use some HTML and CSS. That's why I'm called the princess. And we have to edit it, add some styling options, and then we can then post it on our website. So what we have to do first is we have to copy this code snippet from here, and we have to pop this into our IDE. So whether using Visual Studio Code or an online IDE, it really doesn't matter. For the demo today, I am going to use what's called CodePen.io. So if you've ever been to any of my sessions or watched any of my YouTube videos, you will be very familiar with this. CodePen.io is pretty much an online IDE. The biggest benefit of it is that it allows you to render everything real time on the right hand side. So while you're editing CSS, I can see all of the changes I'm making. So I'm just going to post this HTML code in here, and I'm just going to remove the first line because we don't need to define the doc type. And as you can see, by default, we now have this rendered in here. Now, to add our Copilot to this, we have to collect what's called the bot token ID or bot token URL. Now, it sounds very technical. I will show you quickly how you can do this. So as we scroll down through here, as you can see, Microsoft have added lots of comments. So if you're ever confused about any of the codes that you have in here, you can easily read the comments, or you can use Copilot to help you understand what the code says. So we have to scroll a little bit further to the bottom. And if we just quickly go into here, as you can see, we are asked for the Copilot token endpoint. And this is the URL that we're going to copy and paste in here. So I'm going to navigate to my Copilot Studio. And to get the endpoint URL, all we have to do is navigate to settings, then navigate to channels. And in here, we have to choose either mobile app or Facebook or Skype, as that will have the nice link available for us there to copy. So I'll just click on mobile app. And as you can see, the token endpoint is already here. So all I have to do, click on copy. And now I have that in my clipboard. And now I can navigate back to my pen in here and paste that in here. Now you have to make sure that this URL that we paste in here now is between either single quotes or double quotes, otherwise you are going to get an error. So I'm just going to pop that in here. And within 1 or 2 seconds, we should have the Copilot render on the right hand side. If we just quickly give it 1 second to load. If the demo gods allow, just to kind of be on the safe side, I'm just going to refresh the website because, of course, the demo gods decides that that's not going to work today, even though it worked 10 minutes ago. So I will just quickly refresh the website. We do have a backup just in case, so we don't have to worry about that. I will just give it 1 moment to load. Now that's very interesting. Okay, so I'll just quickly pop all of that in here, and hopefully we will have the chatbot load on the right hand side now. There we go. So as you can see, that chatbot is now loading. Now with the code itself, by default, Microsoft have added a couple of lines for the Copilot to actually trigger the conversation. So as you can see, that message now appears in there, and I can start the conversation and I can just say, hi. And we have all of the options that we could see in the Copilot Studio. So how do we actually style this? First of all, we have to understand how to style and the properties that we can style. And the good news is that we can style pretty much anything out of here just because we're using CSS, which is perfect. Now, to make the job easier, what we can actually do to style it is we can use what's called the web chat framework, and that's version v4. Now, this web chat framework gives you lots of properties that you can copy and paste and edit. And to make it even easy for you, I have found a website that has all of the properties listed. So all you have to do is copy and paste them into your chatbot, and you'll be able to change the look and feel. So let me just quickly show you how to do that. So this is the website. It's called Vesa.io. All of the links will be available afterwards anyway, so don't worry, you don't have to write that down right now. And like I said, I will have a full blog write-up as well. I just need to finish that off. So all we have to do from here is, as you can see, we have all of these properties available to us. We have to copy them, paste them into our chatbot, and we can see some styling changes, and we can start changing some of the things. So to start with something very simple, I will just quickly copy this snippet in here that allows us to change things like the background color of the actual web chat. So I'm going to go back to my pen. And then in here, we have to find the style options. Now, the style options are somewhere a little bit further down. There we go. So this is what you're looking for. Again, all of the comments make it so easy for you to find anyway. And all we have to do now is after here, we just have to put a comma and paste that. And now we are able to start styling our Copilot. So if I want to change, let's say, the background of the chat, I can just say, as an example, black, and in a second you'll see that the color, the background color of this will change to black, and it's really just as simple as that. So I already have a color in my clipboard that I am going to use for this, and that is this kind of very light blue color that we're going to use. So as you can see, we can change all of these things. I don't really want to focus on them. Now, another thing that I really love doing is when I'm talking to a chatbot, I like to see some kind of avatar icon. And as you can see, when you use this Copilot and you post it on the website, as at the moment, there isn't any avatars there. So I'm going to navigate to my Vesa website. And if we just quickly scroll down to the bottom, you can see that we have another snippet that allows us to add an avatar both for the end user and for the bot itself. So I'm going to copy this, and we're going to navigate back into here. And similarly to what I did before, we're just going to add a comma, and I will pop that in here. So now we've done that, I have to actually find an image that I want to use as my profile picture. So I already have two headshots that I'm going to use from a website called unsplash.com. Unsplash allows you to use all of the images that they have on there, stock free, for license free, so you can use them for free in all of your projects with no licensing implications at all. So I'm just going to use this headshot here, and I'm going to copy the image address, navigate back to my Copilot, and let's just say we will add this as an avatar for the Copilot itself. So that will be the bot avatar image, and I will just pop that in here. And in a second, we should hopefully see that image render in here. As you can see, we have that there. I will do the same for the end user as well. So I'll just copy this headshot in here and go into here, use the avatar image, and in 1 second, when that re-renders, I'll be able to say hi. And as you can see, we now have those two headshots in here. And this applies to everything. So I can change the way these options look. As an example, I can navigate back to my website, and I can, let's say, go to my suggested actions, which is what those things are called. And for suggestion actions, there are multiple styling options, as you can see, that we can actually change. So I'm just going to pop that in here. Now, I did notice that there is one action that's actually property that's missing here, and it's actually one of my favorite properties, and that is to do with the options. Let me just quickly go into here. As you can see right now, those options are in a kind of carousel manner. Now, this is all great, but if you have multiple options, those other options will be kind of hidden behind the scroll bar, and you have to scroll to find them. You can easily actually have them stacked on top of each other, which not many people know. So this property is called suggested action layout, and we will just ignore the font and formatting that I have in here right now. And all we have to do is just put stacked. And what you will see in a second is that those options will not now actually be stacked. So if I just quickly go for hi. Just like that, we have those actions stacked. This is fully responsive as well. So you can see that as I make this bigger, make this smaller, this will extend as much as we want. Now, just mindful of the time, because we're running out of time very shortly and we have some amazing presentations. I will just quickly change a couple more properties, and I will show you what you can actually do within around 20 minutes of editing some of these properties to really take your Copilot from looking like this to looking slightly better. So if we just quickly navigate back into here, there are multiple things that we can actually do. you with the suggested actions. So we can do simple things like the border width, border radius. So I can easily just change that to, let's say, 15. It will make it more rounder. I can change the image height. So if I want to add some more padding and have a slightly larger box, I certainly can. So this is pretty much what you can do. Like I said, there's hundreds and hundreds of properties that you can actually style. So I really don't want to bore you with these, and I'm sure you'll want to play around with them. So let me just quickly show you what you can actually achieve within around 15, 20 minutes of work if you really want to change your Copilot. So like I said, this is the kind of Copilot that we get out of the box. Again, it doesn't look bad, but if you want some extra, you certainly can. And I'm just going to navigate to my demo. And as you can see, this took around 15 minutes of time. Like I said, what I can do is I can just say hi. And as you can see, my Copilot will message me to say, how can I help you today? For some reason, the image on the left-hand side hasn't rendered, which is not great for a demo, but we roll with that. And I will just go for front end. I have no idea why that's not actually allowing me to do that. There we go. So as you can see, we also have some hover effect in here as well. And you can do things like animations. You can do pretty much anything. So I didn't want to blow your mind too much with animations because I know it's quite complicated. So maybe that will be a presentation for the next time. And I will also hopefully be hosting an all-day workshop on how to do this from scratch, from building your custom chatbot to publishing on your Power Pages site as well. So if you do want to be informed of that and keep updated, make sure you follow me on LinkedIn. But without any further ado, we've run out of time. So I hope you enjoyed that demo. And if you have any questions, let me know. And I will hand over to David for our next amazing presenter.
Woo, awesome. Thank you, Kristine. Great stuff. I know everyone's excited about how they can make all this stuff look better. So we really appreciate you coming on the call to share with us these tips, and definitely look for that blog post, everybody. Great stuff, Kristine. Thank you. Well, we're going to move on to Ashley now. Ashley is a first-time presenter on the call, everyone. So let's give her a round of applause. Ready to go, Ashley. Copilot for your Copilot, how you can collaborate with AI to use AI. Take it away.
Yes. Hi, everyone. So one of my skill sets is doing this Teams transition wrong. So I'm just going to set y'all up to be disappointed right away, okay? You see my screen?
I do, yep. Throw it into presentation mode and you are on your way.
Is it the right screen?
Well, so, yes, looks great.
Thanks. Copilot for your Copilot. So we just talked about Copilot, and I actually now want to go do the thing that Kristine was explaining. So I'm going to try to stay here and present on my stuff. But you know what's better than just one Copilot? Two Copilots. You know what's better than just two Copilots? That's right, all of the Copilots. So what this presentation is going to discuss is how to create a Copilot coach for your Copilot. And it could be a Copilot coach that's just for your one Copilot in an app that you like to use so you can use the proper terminology. Let's say you don't exactly know how to use Power Apps or Power Automate, but you want to, and you need the right words. Alternatively, once I get this like fixed up, I'm hoping to be able to create kind of a prompt, like a prompt Copilot for these different things, but that'll come along the way. And the reason that this works is when we talk about Copilot and all the different little Copilots, we kind of talk about them as like all these little different Copilots that are just hanging out by themselves and just doing their little things in their own little way. But the reality is that we have a Copilot that was formerly known as Bing Chat that has the ability to take on different personalities, different roles, and wander around the internet for good or for bad. And then all of these other little Copilots are kind of trapped in their bubbles. And so they can really only do what their bubbles let them do. And so we have this capability with this Copilot that's formerly known as Bing Chat to do a lot of different things that we can't with our little bubble copilots. One thing that we can't do with our copilot that's formerly known as Bing Chat is write IRS protest letters with a humorous tone, because they took away that ability from me. But we can do a lot of other different things. And one of the biggest things we could do is create a coach for ourselves. So about time I should tell you who I am. My name is Ashley Francis, and I am a CPA tax accountant from Seattle. And you might have heard Shane mention early on before the call, I just finished tax season on Monday. And if you are not in the US, what tax season is a annual tradition among my people in the US where we spend 2 months out of the year collecting all of the tax information to try to put it into all of this reporting to send it to the government. And then we find out that they already have the information because they send us letters saying you haven't sent us everything. So I just finished that, but what else I also am? Anyway, I am also a newly minted Microsoft MVP in Power Apps or Power Automate and Microsoft 365. So it's kind of hilarious though that I am that I'm an MVP in Microsoft or Power Automate, because as of late 2022, I didn't actually know that Power Automate existed. I'm going to be honest with you. My biggest claim to fame when it comes to technology is being the single highest source of tech support calls consistently. So I'm not the most tech savvy, but what I am is pretty curious about stuff. And in late 2022, this technology came out called Gen AI. And what it allowed me to do was ask the same question over and over and over again. And it never made fun of me. And it never told me there were silly questions. And so using generative AI tools, I was able to go from never having heard of Power Automate to creating a flow and creating multiple flows that have helped my practice in less than a month. And to do that, I used kind of this coaching technique, and I want to teach it to you today so that you can use it as well. Because when you set it up properly, Copilot can do a lot of helpful things, even though sometimes it makes you a little crazy. So we're going to start out with the prompt framework for our Copilot coach. And if anybody doesn't know, prompting is when you're talking to the robot. And I don't know what's called when it's talking back to you. I have a lot of words for it, but I don't think that it's probably proper. And then I'm going to show you the prompt framework that the prompt that I wrote to create a Power Apps Copilot coach, because I haven't done a lot of work in Power Apps. So I thought the best thing for a presentation was to suddenly do a deep dive into a technology that I haven't worked with very much. And then we'll take some questions, and if we have time, additional extra bonus tips. So my prompting framework, I am, you are, I need. These are just the basics for any prompt that I write. I talk about this on my blog all the time, but we're going to talk about building your coach. So we're going to start with I am trying to learn, and then fill in the blank what Power Platform application you're trying to learn. And you want to tell it that you're a beginner, because I found even if you're not a beginner, it is so much more gentler with you. And then let it know if you do or do not understand basic programming. The next thing we need to do is create our coach. And I like to think about the 4 C's of like what I want in my coach, because you could tell it that it's a coach, but you have the option to craft like a personality that's super helpful. So the 4 C's of a good coach when I'm building these coaching prompts is courteous, concise, kind, and direct. Those are the things I like to include. So you are a coach that specializes working with beginners. You explain concepts. Use plain language and avoid technical terms. And this part I love is using numbering or bullet points and providing examples. When you include that in any of your coach prompts, your coach is so much more helpful in supporting you. And then this is a Copilot specific part of a prompt because Copilot will say, I've answered that question before, unless you tell it that it's okay to answer the question more than once. Other Gen AI tools will answer the question a million times and tell you that you're brilliant each time you ask it. And then when you're working with a coach, you don't want somebody who just like finished their training last week. You want someone who's an expert, so you can tell Copilot it's an expert, and it will be like, oh yeah, of course I'm an expert. But you also want to be clear about where it gets this information because it is wandering around the internet. And I don't know if you've ever been on the internet, but there are a lot of bad websites on the internet. And if you want to know what they are, just hit me up later. So tell it which websites you want it to go to so it's getting quality information. And tell it the time frame because it can go back to like 2000 and get you an article that is not relevant anymore. So this is the Power Apps coach that I built. I am trying to learn Power Apps. I'm a beginner and do not understand basic programming. You're a coach on Power Apps. I told it to use the Microsoft community forums and the Microsoft Learn websites. It doesn't stay in that lane, but it does direct it, and articles and posts from 2022 to 2024. And then I added something at the end because it will just start talking unless you tell it to say just okay. It will start trying to educate you, and you don't want that. And to this particular coach, I added a help section where if I say help, I need you to help me. I need you to like give me some chunks of information. And this is what I'm hoping to build out into like a prompt creator as well, as I build onto this prompt conversation. But when you say help, it is ready and willing to help you with your problems. So we are going to do some demos, and I am not brave like Kristine, so I recorded these because, Gen AI just has its own. So I pasted it in, it's responding, and now I'm asking it, because I'm a tax accountant, I'm asking it to create a personal finance app for me. Oh, wait, just kidding, that's the next one. Spoiler alert. Okay, now, now I'm asking it to create a personal finance app for me, trial balance app, because one of the challenges I have is my clients sometimes don't know what their assets are. I don't know. But what I did with that second thing is I asked it to create a summary of that so that I could paste it into Power Apps Copilot and ask for it to create the app for me instead of having to come up with the words myself. So that was nice because what I first did was I asked it, what are the most important things that I should have in this app? And I said the 5 most important things, but you could say 10 most important things. I would just not overwhelm it. 5 is great. And then I asked it to turn it into a paragraph so I could just copy and paste. There is a word limit on the Copilot and Power Apps. So make sure that if there's extra on the end, you take that out or else you'll get an error if you have any incomplete words. And then the other thing is I try to change this to Sparky's personal finance and bar, and it will not let me change it into the name of a bar for some reason. I don't know why. But then here's the thing is like oh wait, no, we already did that. Let's go forward again. All right, so I actually have never really figured out how to create apps before, and so I made this app, and then I had no idea what I was looking at. I was like, great, that's great. What am I doing? So I took a screenshot of it, and I dropped that into my Copilot helper, and it is walking me through what exactly I'm looking at. And so I can have a better idea of what the words are for what the thing is that I'm looking at, which for me, like there's a whole bunch of new words for learning any application. And that really helps me learn the vocabulary and then also learn how to work with the technology. And that is it. That's the demo. I'm hoping, because there is a Power Platform prompts library, I am hoping that I can put this, they'll let me put this prompt conversation in there so folks can snag it and create their own Copilots, their own Copilot coach to help them with, like, Power Apps or Power Automate or Power BI, all the powers, or any other application. So if there's any questions.
The questions will come in the chat. We just blocked down all the audio because we got so many people on here.
Yeah.
But lots of comments. Did you want to, I think we're good on time. Did you want to cover your bonus tips?
Yes, for sure. Okay, so additional extra bonus tips. Sign up for a free developer account. There is the sandbox accounts that you can sign up for Power Apps, Microsoft 365, because when you're learning these technologies and using Copilot can kind of do some funny things, and you really don't want to do funny things where you can break stuff. And let's just say that I know it from personal experience. When you're working with your prompts, and you'll see that that was a whole conversation, those prompts probably took me an hour to develop, maybe more, so that they worked in a consistent way. So copy and paste them and keep them in like a Word document or OneNote so that you can just tweak them a little bit, because I will tell you that even though generative AI feels like you can throw a lot of words against a wall and get something to come back, the words actually matter quite a bit, and the location of the words matter as well. So there is a lot of playing around, copy paste. Check the links. Copilot is generous with the links, but sometimes they don't go where you think they'll go, or it's not saying what you think it's saying, or it thinks it's saying. It's summarizing information for you, but it's using knowledge that it knows. So it's adding in context that maybe isn't there. So just check the links. And plus, if you're learning, it's great to look at the links and read through stuff. Sometimes your conversation with Gen AI will go off the rails, and the best thing to do is just start over. Because if it's off the rails, it's off the rails. No sense getting into an argument with Copilot where it suddenly hangs up on you and doesn't want to talk to you for a week. Just start over from personal experience. And then Gen AI in these prompts, it's actually what I like to call kind of a viral sort of, that sounds kind of bad. I don't have any other words. A technology where it's more people spreading it and sharing prompts actually improves everyone's ability. So the more you create a prompt and the more you share and other people are creating prompts, everyone gets better faster. Whereas this is not a technology that's learned in isolation. So it's more like you have to spread, and then everyone gets better at it quickly. So here are my details if you want to find me somewhere. And I will be at Microsoft Build in the expert meetup booth talking about Power Automate and how it can save you time in your tax practice, or probably pretty much any sort of business. So, and that is me.
Awesome, Ashley. This is so fantastic. And the chat river has just been flowing with energetic and vigorous and zealous comments about your demo. So thank you so much. Again, everybody, this is Ashley's first time on the call. She did amazing. And so we cannot wait to have her back on another demo. So would absolutely love. Go, if you're going to be a build, check her out. Get in and connect with her on LinkedIn and Twitter and all that good stuff. Ashley, you rock. Thank you so much. All right, we are going to move on to Kat Schneider, our final presenter of the day. She's going to bring along a little guy named JSON, which is going to be a low-code introduction for no-coders. Kat, take it away.
Yes. All right. So I am going to share my screen. Let's
Yes.
hope that that's what I'm doing. Oh, of course. Yeah. It decided it wanted to switch screens on me. Hold on.
Standing by.
And now it's decided to duplicate, and I don't know what's going on. Ashley, I think you had a better time of this than I did.
That's because I told everybody it wasn't going to work. So
you like reverse psychology on Teams, right? Like,
that's
Teams
probably what I should have done. All right, I'm getting there. I'm so close, I swear. All right, and now I've lost Teams. Cool. All right, here we go. Sharing of screen.
Yep,
There.
looks great.
You guys see it? Awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so this is JSON introduction for low no coders. This is for many people. JSON is their first fun trip into coding when they get into the Power Platform. So I kind of wanted to give people introduction to this so that when they do come across it in the wild, that it doesn't scare them away. So now I myself am Kat Schneider. A little bit about me is I am a career switcher. I spent almost 15 years total in state government before I switched to tech. I am now a senior software engineer this month at Hitachi Solutions. I spent the last year and a half at a small MSP out in California as a Power Platform developer, but at Hitachi, I'm still also doing Power Platform development with an entire group of people you all may know at some point in time. I am just naturally curious. It's one of the things that some folks on my team have mentioned because I keep asking lots and lots of questions about what is this? What is that? Why are we doing this? How is this done? But this has kind of helped me in my transition into IT and learning a lot of these things that I needed to know. But self-taught coder, I went to the University of Google and learned coding that way, usually through VBA and SQL. It kind of got started. But I love helping others learn data and learn code. Which is how I was awarded Microsoft MVP last year. So that's about me. But who's this JSON guy? What does he got to do with the Power Platform? Well, it's not this one. Turns out Jason himself doesn't really have much to do with this. I don't know if there was a Jason on the development team. I'm sure he loved it. But JSON is not a person. Jason is. I see you, Jason. Every time I talk about this, I know your struggle. But JSON is JavaScript object notation. Just know JavaScript doesn't need to scare you away. It's actually a very interesting language. But just to be clear, it's JSON, not JSON. JSON, code, JSON, person. So it is a lightweight data interchange format, meaning systems can talk back and forth with each other using this format. It's easy for humans to read and write, even if it does look scary at first. But it's easy for machines to parse and then generate, especially in JavaScript. I almost said JSON a second. JavaScript has, the tools right there built in, and then it's made up of what are called key value pairs. So key value pair, what is this, you ask? Well, a key is a field name. It's also known as a column, a heading, what have you. It's usually the name of whatever it is that all of the data falls under. Value is the value for that field, and I'll refer to it as a field from here on out, just to not confuse people. But that key is a column. It is a heading. Just to be clear, this here is a key value pair. These curly brackets around key values are actually what make up this JSON structure. And this is technically a correct JSON key value pair. But let's say if you've ever used a table in Excel or Access, you might be familiar with this. This here, this first one, this is a record. This is that same record across the top. This is that second record. This is that third record. But to make this a table, we throw in some square brackets around those curly bracketed records. So, data types. This is the thing that I'd get on. This is probably my most passionate piece of information is data types, just understanding your data and how it's working. That's going to be your biggest helper when you're trying to get into the Power Platform. If you understand your data, then it's going to make building an app or using Power Automate a lot easier. But your data types, you have blanks or nulls, Booleans, which are true falses, and numbers, which can be integers. They can be positive, negative, they can be decimals, they can be scientific notation, what have you. The blanks, Booleans, and numbers do not need quotes around the value of the key value pair. But strings, all strings need quotes. Dates are actually considered a string. So anything that is not a blank Boolean or number is going to be a string in the eyes of your data systems. But there's two other data types that you need to be aware of. It's objects and arrays. Objects use curly brackets. So from that table previously, those curly brackets around the information, that's what makes it an object. Arrays, they use square brackets. Throw some square brackets around a bunch of objects with curly brackets that are all separated by commas. You now have an array of objects. It's the same thing as a record and a table of records. But let's get some information about it being used in Power Apps. There is the JSON function. When you type in the JSON function, it's going to ask JSON format. If you're not sure which one to use, go ahead and use that ignore unsupported types. That's usually going to filter out your image files, anything that's like base 64, any files basically. But compact just takes out a bunch of extra spacing. Ignore binary data. That is also going to be some file types, but unsupported types kind of just gets rid of anything that the system has trouble with. Data includes that stuff that the system may have trouble with, and indent for is basically giving 4 spaces to give it a nice, pretty layout. And I'll show you in a second what that looks like. Parse JSON is the newest function in Power Apps, and it requires a string of data. Now, the difference between JSON function and the parse JSON function is JSON requires the data to be formatted as data. So whether it's coming from a SharePoint site, it's coming from a collection, what have you, it requires that data in the data formats. Parse JSON requires it as a string of data. This here is a string of data. We've got individual single quotes around the titles of our fields, our key values. Because these are numbers for our values, we don't have quotes, but on the outside, it's double quoted. Fun fact, if you're trying to use double quotes within Power Apps, you need to double up your single quote or your double quotes. So if instead of a single quote here, I can put double quotes, and that will allow the system to understand what I'm doing. But this here is the exact same thing. This is actually a version of indent for. So if you were to use indent for, you would get an output that is similar to this. But that parse JSON function itself, it has to be wrapped inside a for all of some sort. It could be a with if it's just a single record. But you do have to actually tell the system what the record is supposed to be. So because my ID, my account, and my report numbers, they're all numbers, I have to use the value function in here wrapped around each of my records. And then I wanted to add another field in here called counts, and I can use that value as or the value of the ID as the way to go in there and grab some information. So parse JSON needs that string. It needs to be formatted as a string. JSON needs to be formatted as data. But here's a quick introduction or video that I recorded a while ago. This is a bunch of JSON that I got from the user record that I pushed into Power Apps inside of, or Power Automate from Power Apps. Inside of Power Automate, I turned that JSON string into an HTML table and then pushed the string of that HTML table back into Power Apps, where I was able to then parse it using some regex. This was before parse JSON. And then it basically pulls each of those individual items into a gallery that I can then manipulate this information, edit it, save it back into the system if needed. Now, in Power Automate, some parse JSON action, it's pretty much the chef's kiss here. When I don't know what the schema is of my data, and schema is the actual fields and the values and how they're all set up, I can use parse JSON and in my schema field, put in 2 curly brackets, an open and a closed curly bracket. That's the minimum required to get parse JSON to work. So then I can run whatever it is that I need to run, get output from that parse JSON, and then I can come back into my flow and click generate from sample and paste that set of records back into that sample to generate that schema. But this also allows you, this parse JSON, allows you to use all of this information as dynamic content later. Just know that if you use these curly braces, you will not be able to get that dynamic content later. You have to provide a schema in order for that dynamic content to work. Now, there's any number of reasons why you have or you need to use this. This is an HTTP request that was to SharePoint. This one is a compose that was generated from a bookings request. And this one is trying to get the apps as an admin for what's going on in the system. So that's pretty much it. But you will start to see JSON everywhere after this. After you start to see it the first time, it's then literally everywhere. But the biggest help I have for you is the JSON tutorial from W3 Schools. It is fantastic. It breaks it down nice and easy, gives you exercises if you really wanted to go through that, and kind of talks about the different data types and formats. Other one is a couple of community calls. These were the 2 community calls that I've done previously, September and June. September, I had talked about the parse JSON. So there's a little bit of additional detail in that call. And then in June of last year, I did a Power Automate tutorial talking about how to break down the outputs from Power Automate actions, especially those that give you multiple records and need one. So these are my details, and that is all I have for you.
Awesome stuff, Kat. This is really, really helpful. Good. Jason is always a little bit of a shy guy, getting to know the details of him and all of the idiosyncrasies of JSON. So this has been really, really helpful. Thank you. Put those links there in the chat for you all to consume from Kat's resources file. So want to thank all of our presenters, Kristine, Ashley, again, first-time presenter, great job, and Kat. Shane, why don't you come on back? You got any audible gifts of gratitude for our wonderful presenters?
Man, good job, my friends, right? You all are my friends. So yeah, thank you. That was amazing, right? Like, honestly, Kristine and her branding Copilot, I didn't even know that was possible. Oops, I probably should have known that was possible, but I did not. Ashley with her prompting guide there. Ashley is probably one of the best people I know when it comes to prompting. I follow her on Twitter, and she just throws out this random stuff. It's usually about accounting, but watching her break those things apart like really helps me think harder about it, right? And if you're into it, Ashley also has her own training class for some of that stuff. So definitely go check that out. And then last but not least, down there, we've got dear Kat and her JSON. Kat, I'm with you. JSON is everywhere. It is a must for our Power Apps people. I wish everyone would go and tackle that one because it is a hard, or that's not hard, right? It's just text in curly brackets, but it's one that I think we all need to engage. So all three of you did an amazing job. Yeah, I just kudos. Very, very, very well done. So thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Shane. Well, friends, let's wrap this call up. We've got some resources available for you. This list of links, which are in the chat as well, provides you the community front door, access to videos, those samples we talked about, and then all of our community landing pages where you can go in, ask questions, and collaborate with the community forums and feedback and work together. So take advantage of that. And if you like this call, then we welcome you to our other calls. We've got the weekly Microsoft 365 and Power Platform call. This is directly from the horse's mouth because it's coming from Microsoft speakers. So get those product managers and program managers involved and you can learn from them. Of course, our monthly Power Platform call, our Office add-ins, and then our sibling Microsoft 365 and Power Platform development community call, and our Viva Connections and SharePoint Framework, which is tomorrow. So take advantage of that if you're in that space. You can access all the invites from ak.ms/community/calls. And if you want to get more involved, we also have our Discord server that we've set up. So we're hanging with the cool kids in that Discord world. Take advantage of that, absolutely free. I think we got over 1,900 now. So it's a great one-stop shop to be able to collaborate with people of a variety of topics all in one place, really kind of meeting the community where they want to be met. We would love to hear some feedback from you on these calls. Are you liking them? Are there things that you'd like to see that's done differently or better? Even if you filled it out and you said you liked it before, still great to hear from you and let us know that it's still going good. Helps our management see that there's value in these calls, and we appreciate everything that you do to attend as well as present on these calls. So with that, the recording will be available in 24 hours on the Microsoft 365 and Power Platform Community YouTube channel. Teams will tell you it's ready to download, but it is not because you're not a Microsoft employee. You have to be an employee to download it. But if you go subscribe to the YouTube channels, you will be alerted as soon as it's dropped, ak.ms/community/videos. Our next call is May 15th. So be here. We will absolutely have another collection of wonderful presenters, and Shane will be back as my co-host. Shane will be back, yeah, because I forgot to call him out in the beginning. So Shane, sorry again.
I was gonna say, are you gonna forget to invite me next month? Right? I know how you roll.
He'll be back. I'll be back. We'll all be back. So thank you, Kristine, Ashley, Kat, and Shane for all you're doing, and thank you everyone for attending and everything that you do in the community. It would not be possible to be such a great community without the efforts and passion of all of you. So have a great rest of your week, a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you at some events coming soon. Thank you.